Hi, this is Mark Cuban. I'm about to go undercover on the internet. This is actually me. Wikipedia. Mark Cuban hates meetings. He has said the only way you're going to get me for a meeting is if you're writing me a check. Yes, I hate meetings. Nobody likes meetings except the people who bring the donuts and the people who love to talk about their kids. Because when you sit at a meeting, you waste half the meeting. So how was your weekend? How's your day? Why didn't they get the right kind of donuts? I'm tired of donuts. We should get cupcakes. All this nonsense that has nothing to do with getting the job done. I have so many different investments, so many businesses I'm involved with. I want to do everything via email because that allows me to go back and look something up. So if you told me, blah, 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 your kids, and I said, oh, that's sweet, and then we talked about business, I can go back and search it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I got emails that are 25 years old now. Since Gmail, takes gigabytes and gigabytes of storage, I can just do search, so I don't even have to organize them. But I make an exception. If you're gonna write me a check, and it's a big one, I'll be there. Quora. How did Mark Cuban turn the Mavs around from a business perspective? Well, I'm gonna be brutally honest. I really didn't care about the business of the Dallas Mavericks when I bought them. I really cared about winning championships and winning games. And so I spent a whole lot more time on the basketball side of things. And the Mavs lost money almost every year until the past 3 years. When I got to the NBA, when I bought the Dallas Mavericks, everybody thought we sold basketball. Very few people go to basketball games to watch basketball. Think about the last sporting event you went to. Do you remember a jump shot? Do you remember a dunk? Do you even remember the score? Maybe you remember who we played, but you remember who you were with. It's an experience. You remember how you felt. When that ball's in the air and it's a tie game, if it goes through the hoop, you win, and if it doesn't, you lose. Everybody collectively, 20,000 people are holding their breath. And when it goes through the hoop, you're high-fiving and hugging and squeezing so tight people you've never seen before in your life. You're walking out of the arena screaming and yelling. And if you lose, you do the exact opposite. Apple, one of the biggest companies in the world, they can have their best quarter, their best year ever. No one's throwing a parade in Cupertino. The Dallas Mavericks win a championship. Dallas is on fire. Everybody's having an amazing time. The whole city feels the energy. You feel that energy when you walk into the arena. That's what I convinced the NBA that we sell. And that literally changed how sports were sold. Posted, IMDb. After he sold his first company, he tried acting without much success and even auditioned for a role in the film Twister in 1996, but lost out to Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yes, that's true. After I sold my first company, then I started trading technology stocks. I did so well, I turned that into a hedge fund and almost immediately sold that. Moved out to LA to live on the beach and just be retired. And I took acting classes. Why? Because I wanted to meet people. That I did. I got to take classes at all kinds of, well, this is back in the day, the cast of In Living Color, all these different shows. And so I started auditioning. I auditioned for commercials. I had to put the Taco Bell hat on and just act stupid. Did some Ford commercials. So I auditioned for a movie, Twister, and got a callback. Got another callback. I'm thinking, yeah. And then didn't get a callback. I forget the role, but the name of the role, but
Dusty.
Dusty, yeah, Dusty. And so I'm thinking, I'm Dusty. Well, then I watched the movie. Philip Seymour Hoffman is Dusty. Academy Award actor. I was right for the role. He was miscast. Twitter. What do you give a billionaire on Valentine's Day? Coupons? Definitely not chocolates. You know what? A nice hello goes a long way. A little kindness. I think that's what I want for Valentine's Day. My most memorable Valentine's Day would not be family friendly right about now, so we'll pass on that one. How did Mark Cuban save his wealth from the dot-com crash? He sold broadcast.com for $5.7 billion in Yahoo stock. How did he get out before it all went down? Well, I'm going to tell you. Before we started broadcast.com as AudioNet in the mid-90s, I had sold a couple companies and traded stocks a lot. I made a lot of money trading technology stocks. When we took broadcast.com public in 1998, our first day IPO price, the increase was the largest increase for an IPO in the history of the stock market at the time. And then Yahoo bought us for $5.7 billion in stock. Some people thought the stock market was going to go up forever. I had more than $1 billion to my name. They said, oh, you should just keep your stock and don't do anything with it because it's going to keep on going up forever. I was worth more than $1 billion. How much money do you need? There's no reason to be greedy. I didn't need more. I just needed to keep what I had. I went to my broker and I did something called a caller. And I had to wait 6 months, and that was a nerve-wracking 6 months, but I sold what's called calls on Yahoo, which gave somebody else the right to buy it at a higher price. And I used that money to buy something called puts, which meant if the stock dropped below a certain point, I was able to sell that stock at the value of the put. When the internet stock market bubble burst, that saved me. You know, it was unfortunate. A lot of people lost a lot of money. It impacted the economy. I was able to protect myself, but it was really built on the fact that I wasn't greedy. Looking back, there's been articles written about that trade, and it's been called one of the top 10 stock trades of all time. If you're buying and trading stocks, always remember this. When you think you've made the best stock buy ever, you are so smart and everybody knows this stock is going up forever, ask yourself why somebody sold it to you. I'm not saying sell your stocks. I'm not saying the market's going to go down. I don't know, and neither do you, so be careful. Now I'm getting all preachy. Instagram. Honest question. I'll preface it by saying I truly think you're the best owner in team sports. Thanks, David. What was the process you went through when you overruled your management team and passed on Giannis? If you don't know, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, probably is going to win the MVP for the Milwaukee Bucks. And in 2013, our general manager, Donnie Nelson, said, we have to get this kid. If you're a basketball fan, you know who the Greek freak is, and you know how amazing he is. Back then, there were 2 VHS tapes of him playing in this horrible little league that probably wasn't as good as the league I played in at the gym. We just had these tapes, but our guys had gone to see him, and they said, this is the guy. He's going to be really good. And I'm like, who else was watching this kid? If he's going to be a superstar, you would think somebody would draft him. The double bad news was not only do we not get the Greek freak and missed out on him, but we also didn't get the free agents we wanted either. So we got shut out. Thanks for asking that question. Why does Mark Cuban do his own laundry? Now, first of all, I don't always do my own laundry. When I travel, I do my own laundry. I just do. But my wife kills me because I don't use laundry detergent. Like for workout gear, I'll just throw it into the washing machine. There's no good reason other than laziness. And then I'll just throw it into the dryer. But, you know, it sets a good example for my kids. If dad's doing his own laundry, I don't have a good reason beyond that. Which companies that have appeared on Shark Tank does Mark Cuban regret not investing in? None. None. When we come to shoot, they'll just bring in deal after deal after deal. And when they walk in, we know nothing about them. They'll just start pitching us, and we have to decide what we're going to do right there and then. A Shark Tank deal on television might be 10, 14 minutes. They can go 30, 45, 90 minutes, 2 hours. Imagine those one after another for weeks at a time. Once they leave, they are gone, lost, forgotten. I don't pay attention to any deals that I didn't get. As Kevin would say, they're dead to me. M. Cuban, we all know you sold garbage bags door to door. I'm doing that right now. Why? I have no idea. But what were the following 6 jobs? I sold garbage bags door to door when I was 12 years old because my dad told me the only way I could get new basketball shoes was if I had a job. And one of his buddies said, I have all these garbage bags to sell. Why don't you sell them? So I sold them door to door, got my kicks. My next 6 jobs, oh my God. I was a box boy. I got a job working at a delicatessen. I was chopping chip-chopped ham. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know what chip-chopped ham is. I wasn't paying attention, and this finger went right into the blade that was spinning around and chopped off the end of my finger, went flying, and I'm bleeding everywhere. That job ended like that. After that, I had a bunch of odd jobs, laying carpet, just random jobs. M. Cuban, renting a book on Mavs history. You would play wiffle ball in the first mansion you bought after the broadcast.com sale. Accurate? Absolutely. One of my former partners came to me and said, there's this enormous house that some guy spent $25 million to build, and I could get it for half the cost that it cost him to build, $12 million. I said, I'll buy it, sight unseen. The place is enormous, 24,000 square feet. Still to this day, don't know how many bedrooms or bathrooms. A year or two would go by and I wouldn't go upstairs, and there were rooms I still haven't been in years. In the ballroom, there was a fireplace, a window, there was a pillar, and there's a bar. Home plate, first base, second base, third base. I had a wiffle ball bat and a wiffle ball because every guy who lives on their own does. My buddies would come over, and it was big enough you can curve the ball and hit and run and hit home runs. And until I got married, effectively, I had no furniture, and we played wiffle ball in my ballroom. I still have the house, and I still have the wiffle ball bat. And literally just the other day, the dog ate the wiffle ball. If your tax rate was dropped to say 0, would you take that money not paid in taxes and give it to the workers in your companies? In my opinion, the idea that corporation would is unfounded. I'll tell you exactly what I would do. If you remember what I had said about broadcast.com, when we sold the company, out of 330 employees, 300 owned shares of stock and became millionaires. In my companies that I start, everybody has stock. If taxes went to 0, and I don't think that's a good idea, but if taxes did go to 0, I would invest in the company to make it as big and profitable, so stinking profitable, that because the employees are owners, whenever I got paid, they would get paid too. When you get paid by the hour, sure, the more you make, the better things are. But if you own stock in a company, then the better that company does, the better you do. And the only way to get out of that mode of getting paid by the hour or getting paid a salary is if the company grows as big as it possibly can. It either generates a lot of cash so that you get paid or the company gets sold. And to me, that's how you start to fight income inequality. During college, he had various business ventures, including a bar, disco lessons, and a chain letter. Yes, I did. I went to Indiana University and I had to pay for my own school. I had to figure out every which way in order to do it. The chain letter was my junior year. You buy the chain letter from somebody, and in the letter is a list of 10 names. You give $50 to the person you bought the letter from, and you send $50 to the person at the top of the list, scratch their name off, put your name at the bottom. Then find at least 10 people to sell it to so that one by one, your name works its way to the top of the list. Well, I did that and got my name to the top of the list. And I also sold it so that none of the people I sold it to lost any money, because I would have felt horrible. I remember getting up every morning so excited because there'd be like envelopes with $50 here, $50 there. It was amazing. It was great. It was illegal, but that was my chain letter my junior year. And that's how I paid for my junior year of college. Now, in terms of disco lessons, I needed a job. I like to dance. I always liked to dance. I was okay at it. I was out dancing with some friends at a club. Somebody saw me and they're like, "We need you to give disco lessons at our sorority house." Cool, how much are you gonna pay me? They're like, $25 an hour. I'm like, yes. I got to go to a sorority house who then referred me to another sorority house, who then referred me to another sorority house. It was the happiest time of my life. I can't show them all. The place I would dance, we would throw parties there. I'd act as a party promoter, but that bar was going out of business. I took another student loan, $1,500 I think it was. I went to my friend and he had some money, Evan. We said, okay, we want to take over the bar. And I don't really have much cash to give you, but I want to turn it from a disco into more of a rock-oriented dance and hangout and party bar. And they were like, cool. And so we wrote up a little contract, and I mean, I was so stupid I didn't even use a lawyer. I was able to take over the bar and effectively buy it. We took all the disco stuff out, put in the best sound system and stereo system that we could find. If we didn't have a lot of people come those first couple of days, we were out of business immediately. I was using my student loan money, and I still had to pay for college, and it would have been a big problem. We opened up, and there were lines to get in. How did I open it, being under 21? They didn't ask, and I didn't tell. Do you agree with Mark Cuban that liberal arts graduates will become more valuable in the future? 12 years ago, there was no iPhone. 25 years ago, the internet was just happening. 30 years ago, we were just seeing PCs, and we've come so far just with that. Artificial intelligence and the advances it introduced is just going to dwarf iPhones, local area networks, the internet. It's just going to blow them away. We're going to start using AI for a lot of different applications in jobs. If you're going to build an AI, a neural network, that is about Shakespeare, if that's about customer service in telecommunications, that's about any particular topic, you need someone with expertise, not only in their topics, but people who are able to put together objective networks so that they're able to find and eliminate biases wherever they find them. Humanities and technology in the world of artificial intelligence have to come together. Otherwise, we're going to see all kinds of problems. Data is going to drive everything that we do. We're really going to live in a completely different world. And even though technology might not have been the same 50, 100, 500 years ago, typically we tend to go through the same types of problems. And having people with a perspective that's different than a technologist will be incredibly valuable. That's it for today. I've answered your questions. This was actually me.